So we've got so much to cover, Lee. You were an amazing cricketer, sports person, but obviously your health took a turn there.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to play professional sport for a living, and like a lot of professional athletes, they go through their ups and downs, and I had a couple of major injuries that sort of ended my career, and I was lucky enough to make a comeback. And then when cricket finished, I went off in a new direction, and I tell you what, the last sort of 10 years since I've retired has been the most exciting. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love playing professional cricket for 20 odd years, but yeah, the last 10 years have been really, really exciting. For example, last night I didn't get home till midnight because there was a big game last night down at the Gold Coast. The Brisbane Heat played, and I do a bit of work game day hosting, and unfortunately we lost.
We fell apart.
We lost, but we do get another chance on Monday, so that's the and that's the fun stuff that I get to do these days. So I get to dip my toes in cricket still, but I'll do all these other great things like even book reviews and media stuff and TV work. So yeah.
Yeah, we're going to go through some of that because you are such a busy person. I don't know how you get through it all, but yeah, you TV personality, businessman, and former cricketer. You've been doing an amazing job on Weekender on 7. Love watching you there, and a Ram ambassador as well.
That's lots of fun. The Ram ad was pretty good. I got into a bit of trouble because I wasn't actually sponsored by Ram. I was actually sponsored by Volkswagen, and someone called me up and said, "Do you want to do a Ram ad?" I went, "Yeah, I probably should check with the manager, but let's do it." You got to drive around sand dunes in Newcastle for 2 days, and I went, "Yeah, it sounds like fun." And then I found out that the ad was actually quite bigger than what it was, and it was played all around Australia for a good year in every sporting channel. And I got a little bit of trouble from my manager. What did you do that for?
Yeah, I see that ad all the time because I used to run AP.
Nice car, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And but that guy does look genuinely like he's had a bit of an experience.
He was a paid actor, all right.
He's a paid actor. Yeah,
so I was paid, but I'm not an actor.
No, so he didn't do too much.
We did actually get to drive. Obviously, they had a stunt car, a driver from Mad Max. They flew him up from the Mad Max sequel. So he was doing all the cool stuff, but they still got me behind the wheel, and he sat in the back and told me what to do. So it was good fun.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah.
Sounds like great, and you got paid for it. Wow.
You got paid for it, yeah.
So back to your time with the Queensland Bulls, and then you went to did a stint in India.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky enough to play, obviously a lot in Australia, but I got to think about cricket being an international sport. I played a lot in England. I played in India. Hong Kong, New Zealand, Bangladesh. I played towards the end of my career, had a stint over there. So I was lucky enough to play in all these, South Africa, so a lot of these countries, and then got to do a little bit of travel while you're there. So very, very lucky. Cricket in India is a whole different world compared to cricket in Australia, and those guys are just treated like absolute gods over there. So it was a really unique experience going over there and experiencing that as well, yeah.
It was interesting because we had John Buchanan here during the week, who was the former Australian coach.
He was my first coach for Queensland, actually, before he went on to coach for Australia.
Yeah, he spoke about you because he saw your name on the coming up, and but he said that exactly that you go to India and you're an absolute god. And he started a foundation now in India for, I think, babies to 6-year-olds, to try and get them playing sport.
Well, there's a lot of Australian cricketers who do a lot of charity work. Steve Waugh, Brett Lee, who go over to India because they've got such a huge following over there. They're as big as the Indian supporters love Australian cricketers, and so you find that when they retire, they go over there a lot and do a lot of great work in charities. Yeah.
So we also had Josh Maguire here, the former rugby league. Broncos
what a player. I love watching him play.
And huge.
Massive. Is he retired or is he still?
Yeah, he's working for Professional Bull Riders Australia now.
That sounds about right. Is he the bull? People ride him?
I said, do you actually ride? He said, no, I don't. I'm just the business.
I can see him ride
business development.
I can see him ride because he was he just put his head down and just went through walls, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And he said he regrets a few things that he did, but
I think towards the end he started, like all athletes, towards the end of their career, they get a bit cranky. Like I remember I did as well, and sort of your fuse gets a bit shorter, which you can, in cricket, you know, it's easy. You just sort of maybe sledge, but in rugby league, you might throw a punch or do something silly, you get suspended. So
well, he got sledged and ended up getting kicked out of the UK.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, I know. So, but he was talking about injury and giving up, having to give up sport, and he played with.
It's always tough.
He's only got one eye now.
Yeah, I remember. I think one of the eyes came out and got detached or something, retina detached or something like that. So he's got really bad vision in one. And those guys, I mean, we're lucky at being cricketers. We do have injuries, and quite a lot of injuries, but they're not the impact type injuries that the rugby guys. And I know a lot of ex-rugby guys walking around these days, and you look at them and they've had hip replacements and knee replacements and things like that. So they really put their body on the line, and they earn every cent during their career. They definitely earn it.
Well, he was telling us that Josh was telling us that the most famous or the most successful bull rider lives in Queensland.
Does he?
Yeah. So
there you go.
So there you go.
Should get him in next year. Lifeline.
Yeah.
Get a mechanical bull right here.
Yeah,
get him to ride it.
Yeah, we've all done that, haven't we?
We have.
At
with
events.
A few drinks under our belts. I'll ride that ball. Let's do it.
So next in your career, the Survivor Series, a huge change from cricket.
Yeah, that sort of just changed the direction of my life considerably. And I had no idea what I was getting myself in for. So Survivor was launching. Obviously, it was very successful in the States. It had been going on for about 20 odd years. They decided to go really large and spend a lot of money on production. And I remember seeing the ad. I didn't actually get called up for it. I actually applied for it because I knew from watching it that there was always a couple of spots for washed up sporties. And I thought, that's me. I can tick that box. And then I thought, you know what, if nothing else, I get to go on a cool experience. And I thought I'll maybe last a couple of weeks and then they'll vote me off because I don't know much about the game. And then I ended up pretty much making it all the way to the end. I think it was 55 days, lost 17 kilograms. It was huge, a massive. And then after that, obviously all these opportunities came around. I think mainly because the show was such a big success. And the first show in a lot of these reality TVs, people tend to remember, like, you know, your Australian Idols, your Shannon Knowles, your Guy Sebastians and things like that. So even to this day, you know, I still get people who are big, Survivor fans coming up and having a chat. They try and ask me, you know, what did you do on day 13? Why did you do that? I said, no, I can't remember anything.
Yeah, can't remember.
It's all a blur. It's all a blur. But an amazing experience. I was lucky enough to go back again for All Stars a few years later, and it's just one of those ones where people say, "Would you go?" I get asked a lot, "Would you go back again?" And you say no, but then when the exec producer calls you, you always say yes because it's such a unique experience, and not many people get to do it either.
And do you think that that really put you on the road to TV personality?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't have a goal at the end of my career to go into media. I owned a drone business, and I still do to this day, a drone training company, and I was actually flying drones for all the Weekender and the Creek to Coast, the TV shows back in the day. And so when Survivor came around, the profile grew, and then they said, do you want to do some work in front of the TV? So let's just give it a go, and they'll probably last a couple of months before they kick me off. But like anything, I like these challenges, and I thought, let's give it a go, see if I like it as well. And I'm still doing it sort of 7-8 years later, and then other opportunities have come from that, whether it be public speaking, game day hosting, and things like that. So whatever comes into my inbox, you inbox me a lot, Steve, so and it excites me and it challenges me. I normally say yes, yeah.
Yeah, you still answer my calls, so thanks so much for that. We met through a great mate of ours, Daryl, from NAC Hair Care, and NAC Hair Care is still supporting us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so amazing
He's
guy.
a good man, Daryl, yeah.
He's a good man. I went to see him in Mission Beach, actually.
Yeah, he's living up in Mission Beach.
Yeah, he's
a great time up there, isn't it?
He's sorting bananas for a living.
Is making banana ice creams? No,
yeah,
something
banana
like
ice
that.
creams.
I don't know,
something like that, yeah.
Chocolate banana ice creams, I think.
And he said, taste this, and it was absolutely disgusting. But I didn't tell him that. So in the Survivor Masterclass, you obviously, it was a tough time for you because you got some news about your mum.
Yeah, the second adventure was going really, really well in All Stars, and I was about 35 days into a 50-day sort of show, and then got the call up that mum had unfortunately passed while I was on the show, and that was a real tough, obviously, you know, when you lose someone, you're normally at home around loved ones, and I was on a deserted island. My only family was the Survivor crew there, and production and everyone came around, and they really sort of held my hand and got me home as quickly as possible. But I think the most unique thing about that is I had to relive it again. So I relived it on the island in private with my survivor family, and then I came home, and then basically all of Australia, they showed the episode, and all of Australia sort of got around me about 6 months later. So it sort of felt like it happened twice. And then even to this day, you know, they might sell the rights to a country in Portugal or Spain or whatever, and you get some messages from people who have watched it, and they say, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss." And you know, that happened 3 or 4 years ago, but they're watching a show that they think it's happened right now. So look, the support was amazing, and then we did some great things out of it. I support the Stroke Foundation. Mum died of a stroke, and my father had a stroke 15, 16 years ago. So we raised a lot of money after that. I thought, you know what, do something good out of something tragic, and we raised close to $100,000 for the Stroke Foundation straight after that. So it just involved a lot of people getting their clothes off.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I remember that.
Semi-naked. Yeah, I had a towel around their waist.
I think we helped you get the towels, and that was...
You did actually.
That's all they had.
There was a lot of towels being used, and not reused, by the way.
But you did an amazing job for the Stroke Foundation. So you're right. It's just incredible what comes out of it. I mean, I got really sick a few years ago, and whilst I was recovering, I tried to go back to work, and that didn't work. So I thought I was laying there thinking, what am I going to do with my life? And that's why I decided to come back to Lifeline. So it's amazing the things that trigger, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, as I said, and I still work with them to this day, and you don't know, it just made sense to work with them, and I just they're a great group, and if anything they probably don't have the exposure that they normally have, especially on social media and digital. As opposed to a lot of the cancer foundations and things like that. You think Jane McGrath and Cancer Council and things like that. So I suppose my goal is not so much to raise money, but just to bring awareness to it. And then, I think we did a collaboration with Budgie Smugglers the other day. So I had to raise some money there and just do different things. I ran from top of Fraser Island to the bottom of Fraser Island, 144 kilometres. Tried to do it in 24 hours.
Was the ram broken or?
Tell you what, that ram would have chewed up the Fraser Island. And that just raised. That was they had their own sort of charity event, so where people can just raise their own money for their own sort of challenge. Stride for Stroke it was called, and it raised over $400,000. My goal was just to get people to sign up. So they said, "Do you want to do something?" I said, "Yeah, I'll do something, but I want to do something pretty cool. There's no point me going for a 5K run and say, hey guys, get inspired by that." So I put a 19 kilogram backpack on, which signifies one person has a stroke every 19 minutes. And I decided to run from the top of Fraser Island to the bottom, all on sand, no break. And the attempt was 24 hours, and I got 26. I had a couple of blowouts, so it was tough. But that was the goal, and and as I said, it got a lot of people signed up. Raised $400,000 for the Stroke Foundation, and they asked me again. I said, I might sit this one out this year. Ask me next year when the body's recovered.
You're looking pretty fit though. I breathe in and sit here and try and look physically fit. But
look okay, but it does break down from time to time. Trust me. I feel like walking down the hallway every morning. I'm like Frankenstein. So it takes me a while to warm up.
It's funny, we were talking to Michael Riscatelli, and he was talking about Michael Voss, who obviously was a great Lions.
One of the best.
Yeah, one of the best, and now coaching, and half of the former Lions players are coaching, but
they are.
Apparently Vossi used to just roll out of bed every morning because he couldn't stand up.
Yeah,
it took him a couple of hours.
It gets a bit like that. You've got to get the blood going through your veins, and and also you might take a couple of Panadol here and there just to get you through. But I'm lucky I don't have to rely on too many sort of drugs to get me through every day. But keeping fit doesn't get any easier as you get older as well. And so you try and push yourself, but also you got to sort of realise, hang on a sec, I'm trying to push myself with 24-year-olds, 25-year-olds, and you just got to ease back and just sort of say, just take it easy. Come on, you're not young anymore, because you will blow a gasket
exactly,
sooner or later.
I run to the car every day, regularly. So you're now a regular on Channel 7 Weekender, as you touched on. You seem to be so comfortable in the role. You've done some amazing stuff, like shown us some great parts of Queensland.
Yeah, I was quite lucky. Obviously, to get the role is great, and then obviously, I think when I played cricket, I travelled throughout Queensland, but we never really got to experience the place. You'd go in, play the game, do a coaching clinic, and then just go away and just go back home. And so I actually got to visit a lot of these places that I played cricket at, but never really got to see. Because I think when you're playing and training, when you have a day off, you don't really want to go out all day and go snorkeling or scuba diving. You want to sort of retain you. So to get this role was so amazing, and I've just seen so much of Queensland I never thought I'd expect. And I think the stories are so. They just celebrated the weekend of 20 years last year, so it just shows how popular the show is. And to this day,
that was a great summary show that you did.
That was great, wasn't it? Yeah, and they tend to pick me for all the adventure stuff. So, hey, want to jump out of a plane? No, let's do it. Want to go snorkeling, scuba diving? Let's do it. Paragliding? Yeah, let's do it. So it's I'm just so lucky. They're a great crew. They work really hard. The cameramen, the producers, and they just produce great shows. Like, there's not much TV these days is that feel good. You know, a lot of it's rubbish reality TV. Not Survivor, by the way. That's a good show. That's one of the best. But just the other shows, you know, the feel good Saturday, Sunday afternoons where you can sit back and relax. You've had a nice weekend and just watch something positive and watch something that inspires you to actually go, you know what, I'm going to go there. I'm going to climb Mount Timbro or go Mount Gun Gun. And we've got so much here in our backyard. It's amazing. And I didn't even realise it until I started the show.
Yeah, you've certainly highlighted, as I said, some amazing places. And we were, one of your shows, I can't remember what it was, but we were then inspired to go on a road trip, and we went right out to Longreach, and amazing people.
I do love the country.
Scenery.
The country trips are great. You know, obviously, when you go up the coastline, the Whit Sundays and all that stuff, they're used to television sort of producers and presenters coming through. But when you go out west, they just appreciate it so much more, and they just look after you and they have so much fun. So I do love those country trips.
And just another part of your career, like there's so many parts of your career, but you're now working with another weekender reporter, Victoria Carthy, who does all of our events, MCs our events with Ben Davis from 7.
Yep.
Lovely lady. And she actually appeared, Victoria was here in June for the June event.
Yep.
And I didn't have to say a word. I just
That's pretty much my role, like yours, Steve. Like we do these QBD book reviews at the end of each month, and we've got to review, I think, 5 books. So it's pretty hectic turnaround. Sometimes those books we don't get until late. And thank God for Vic, is all I can say, because if she's not there, I'll be nowhere. Because I'm busy. We're both busy. She's very busy as well. But somehow she gets to get through the books a lot easier than me. Sometimes you just don't even get a chance because you might get that book 1 or 2 days beforehand, and you've got to somehow come up with something to talk about. And so we might go into a bit more about the author and things like that. But so 70 books in a year, that's a lot, especially when you've got other jobs and other things to do. But my role is to sit there, listen to Vic, and just add a few little words here and there. But we get on so well because a lot of the presenters at Weekend and Creek to Coast, we never work with each other because we're off different positions, different areas in Queensland, and they don't have 2 presenters at once. So to actually sit down and Vic, and we just, you can tell right at the start that we connected, and we know when not to talk over each other or how to. It's just good banter, and you know the results show because we've been doing it for probably, I think, 4 years now. So there's been 4 times 70. What's that? Anyway,
280. Yeah.
It's a lot of books.
Yeah.
It's a lot of books, and they get a lot of views on social media as well. So it's mainly done. It's not done on TV. They're shown through your Facebook, Instagram, and things like that. And we get the reviews back at the end of each year, and there's millions of people that watch them. Yeah, it's quite amazing.
I think you're selling yourself a bit short from what Vic tells me, because she said you've added a huge dimension to what she does as well. So
yeah, she just tells me what to do and I do it. I've got an idea. Britney Spears is promoting her book. Take the top off. Okay, let's do it.
And talking about your book reviews, not only did you help us with donating a huge amount of books for Bookfest, so
there's probably one row here that's all mine.
Yeah, all of yours.
I did a big clean out.
I picked them up from your house, so I know.
I've got some more, by the way.
Yeah, so thanks so much. But along the way, you introduced us to Trent Dalton, amazing Queenslander, local Brisbane person, who said, I was having a chat with him, and he said, absolutely, if Lee and Vic recommend you, then that's enough for me. And he said, when do I have to come? And so I told him the dates, and about 2 weeks later I got a phone call from his producer and said, you do know he's releasing the Netflix series of Boy Swallows Universe, and I said, yeah, he sort of said he'd come along, and she said, absolutely won't, because he won't be there. So
he's a very busy man at the moment. We're lucky because we got to interview Trent. We get to interview a lot of authors, you know, from both domestically and internationally as well. So that's another great part of the job that we get to do. But Trent was the guy that we sort of knew a little bit about, and obviously launched the book. And then it went absolutely nuts around the world. Obviously, then Netflix picked it up, and it's just been released. So if you've got Netflix, trust me, watch it. You know, first scene, Dara, right down the road here, and just an amazing human as well. You sit there and you listen to him, and every time we've interviewed him, either Vic's cried or I've cried or he's cried. It's just he's such a nice guy. Obviously worked for the Courier Mail a lot, wrote a lot of stories around local Brisbane. So all his books, his latest one, Lola in the Mirror, is set in Brisbane as well, and also Boys, Swallows, Universe. And he's obviously kindly donated all these books to us as well, and I've donated to Lifeline as well. So yeah. Yeah,
so we've got a book personally signed by Trent, but it's personally signed to you.
Yes. So if your name's Lee, then you can pass it off as your own.
Yeah, absolutely. Or we can just change them.
Yeah.
Change them. But I found this morning Boys, Swallows, Universe just walking up through the book. So you'll see plenty of those. But yeah, Trent was awesome, and he really does want to. He wrote to me afterwards and said, I really do want to come to Bookfest, and so amazing guy.
Anything to do with literature in Australia, he is there, and he'll support anything. You know, obviously now that his time is a lot more constrained, being an international superstar that he is. But even when you talk to him, he's so humble and such a nice guy. So yeah, look forward to. You'll get a bigger crowd, trust me, when he's in. There'll be people lining up for when Trent's here.
Yeah, we've had some pretty big crowds, thanks to you guys. So, and we would say at this stage, obviously, as we said before, all the funds from Bookfest and our Lifeline Queensland retail shops go directly to fund the 13 11 14 crisis support line. And if anyone's feeling distress or feeling in need, then please call that number. And they'll talk to you 24 hours a day. And Lee not only has been to this event and helped us with the books, but we run huge fundraisers called Legends for Lifeline, and Lee has been to quite a few of them. And it was quite funny because I got you to present some prizes to some people that we had speaking, and I had to explain who Lee was, and the guy said, I haven't lived in the country for 3 years. I said, that explains it.
Happens a lot. People go, who's that guy?
Yeah, Lee. No, not here. So now to your business career. So apart from Weekender, running on Sandhills, you've got the Drone It group, so responsible CASA training.
Yeah,
use of drones.
I got into flying drones probably about around the same time as Survivor, and I just did it because I loved creating content. And back in the day, flying drones was a bit more challenging than what it is now. You had to sort of half build your own drones and put a GoPro on. It was a bit clunky, and I got a lot of work. I think I was the 24th person licensed in Australia, so there was heaps of work. And obviously regulations changed. We got out of the services-based industry and got into training. So we're one of the biggest drone training sort of providers, CASA certified training providers in Australia. So a lot of the Channel 7 cameramen who come through, we train up, train anything from police officers, defence, government, videographers, mining, surveyors. So every time, and we hold training all around Australia, or each capital city and everything, and it's just amazing. I still, from time to time, go and do training. I don't do too much these days, but when I do, you just get this collective group of people who have all different uses for drones, and yeah, I find it really interesting. So yeah, that's been going well. That's about 8 years now. So and I've got a great team behind me that run that every day. So even though it's obviously my business, I whenever I go back, they go, "Hey Lee, everything's running smoothly. Don't poke your nose into anything, all right? Just
go and review the books."
Yeah, exactly. Everything's going great. Okay, no need to do anything.
So plus a Torah Burley strength training and fitness, which Michael Riscatelli spoke about. Is coming to work with.
Yeah, we launched that in December down in Burley, and that's going great. It's such a good gym. I've been going for about 18 months up here in Brisbane, and I just believe it just suits the way that I train, and I haven't broken down too many times, and the programming's exciting, the community's great, and I just got invited to see whether I wanted to invest in there, and I go down once a week to sort of work out, but mainly obviously I work out from the Brisbane Cooperoo Centre. Just can't get down there every day. Just for a workout, but again, like they run it, I sit back and they know what they're doing. So again, a great group of people, and that's the most important thing with business. You know, you've got a great group of people here at Lifeline, the volunteers, to make this all happen. And the same with me in business. You know, you get a good team. If you can pinpoint a great team, you go, yep, I want to be part of that. So yeah,
you've done well, and not only that, but you also got Norgay Media.
Yeah, so that's just my media business. So, for example, if I do any work outside of it, whether public speaking, presenting, and all that sort of all funnels into that. So every now and again, I'll get called up and might have to do a little like a TV ad or something like that. So I've got to, you know, being in the media sort of landscape, I know a lot of good videographers, cameramen, editors, producers, and that, and I'll just pull a team together to actually do that job as well. So. Yeah, it sounds like a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does sound like a lot. Yeah, I'm not sure what you do on a Sunday, but we're going to ask you that shortly.
Come here on a Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we drag you along to Lifeline Book Fest on
That's
your
fine. I might actually have a look a bit later.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're talking about volunteers, and we're so fortunate to have over 700 volunteers working here, setting up, filling the shelves after everybody goes home, and just doing an amazing job. So we're very fortunate to have all those people.
Yeah, you are. As I said, there's so many people, and that makes what Lifeline is. And look at the people coming in. 1.2 million books. Over half of them sell throughout the week. That's huge numbers, massive numbers, and it just shows again the love of people reading as well. You know, most people think, oh, are people reading these days? You know, with social media and everything. Trust me, people are still reading. Yeah. And they do like reading hardcovers as well. I like reading hardcovers. I can't read it off a Kindle. I'm sorry.
We had some Queensland authors here during the week, and we had that debate about hardcovers or paperbacks, and I can't do paperbacks.
I can do Audible. Audible's not too bad if I'm driving. So sometimes I have to do Audible because I've got to get through a few books before the reviews and stuff like that. But I like if it's an autobiography, it has to be done by the actual, the person. So if it's a celebrity autobiography or whatever, it has to be read by that person, I think. It just doesn't make sense, I reckon.
So last question, when's yours coming out?
I wouldn't know what to talk about. It'd be so messed up. It was like, what is Lee? He's going off in a tangent? Are we talking about business?
Just fill in a day.
Yeah. I'd be like anyone. I think everyone's got a story, and I don't know. I don't think at this stage. I'd like to actually do something. I'm coming up to 50 soon, mate, so that might be a good little, half a century, raise the bat, cricket sort of pun there, but maybe just more so, I'll do it for myself and for family, I reckon, and then if the wider community likes it, great, but I reckon if I did do it, it'd be for that, just to tell them the story, so that when I'm past this life and, they go, oh, Dad did this. Dad was actually not a pretty cool person, because they don't think I'm cool at the moment. Their mates do. I got 2 teenage boys. Their mates think I'm cool. Because I bring over, sort of Australian cricketers with barbecues and things like that, and they love it. And my boys are going, Dad's such a nerd.
He's a bloke from Survivor.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So maybe if I do that, they might think, when I'm older, that Dad was pretty cool back in the day.
I did read though that one of the ways that you love relaxing is spending time with your family and the boys. And
I do, yeah. I am lucky because I work my own. Part of the downside is you travel a lot. I try and limit that. So, but making sure that I still do drop-offs and pickups. My boys are in year 11 and 12. Who does just so I get to do that still, and that's even though drop-offs and pickups are a little bit different these days. I'm not sort of going outside the school. It's like, Dad, can you pick me up? And then they make me pick them up 100 metres down the road.
That's right. Don't stop there anyway.
But I just love doing it, and I get to take the boys up the coast, and and get to they're right into their sport at the moment. So I get to kick the footy around with them and help them sort of navigate that wave if they want to make a career out of it. Help them out as much as they can. But it's again like anyone. It's family's everything, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think that's what we see. It's so nice to see everyone coming here with their children, and great to see the children looking for books, but great to see the families together.
Absolutely, and I remember even handing over these books to you guys, going through and we go, I remember that. I just sit down with Sam and Jake and just read this book over and over and over again every night, and so it's those memories that you create by just sitting down reading kids' books. with your children, or that book that you read on a cruise or on a holiday that just sticks in that memory, just burns in that memory. So there's heaps of those memories from reading books, and I think that's what's so memorable about it. That's why reading's so popular still.
So there you go. So you could do a weekend, a travel show, and read a book and do a cruise. And
that's an idea. I'll pitch it to the producers.
Yeah,
although
sure.
I think we have to go overseas, though, Steve. I think we have to do a 30-day cruise around the Bahamas or something.
Yeah, you have to talk to Heels.
I'll see if we got budget for that.
Heels does that regularly on the European riverboats.
Junket.
Yeah.
Mr. Junket, man.
He said I had to go. I said, oh, that must be terrible, cruising up the Rhine and
yeah, exactly.
all that stuff. So look, Lee, it's been awesome having you here, and the people we've had here, I mean, I do hassle them, and I really do appreciate everything they do for me. They still answer the phone and still get back to me, and Lee's driven back up from the coast today to be here. So finally, 60 seconds with Lee. Nothing like 60 seconds with Sterlo, but so your favourite place to relax?
I'm going to say home. I'm sorry. I love relaxing at home because I don't spend much time at home. So at home is where I'm so
awesome.
Happy. Yeah. Sorry, that's boring answer, but yeah.
Your perfect Sunday is probably being at home, is it?
Yeah, I beach. I've got a family's got a place up at Alexandra Headlands there. We've had it for 30 years. I was a Nambour boy, born in Nambour. And so being up there, beach, apartment, taking the dog for a walk, kids, surfing, love it. Nothing better.
Awesome. Yeah, Alex is a lovely spot. We go to Cotton Tree all the time.
Oh, how good's Cotton Tree?
That's good.
Seriously.
Cotton Tree.
Oh, the best.
And your favourite takeaway? Do you do takeaway? Obviously not the way you look.
I'm privy to a good takeaway.
We were asking
if it's
Bonnie that question. There's a dietitian.
If it's a healthy takeaway, I'll go like a fish bowl or a cheeky pokey or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
If it's indulging, I would. Nothing better than a nice greasy pizza and a beer watching the footy. I still do that, don't worry about that.
We went to, I remember we went to Italy one year, and we were in Rome, and we went to this pizza place and said, what's your best pizza? They said, well, you're Australian, the best pizzas are in Australia. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, they did.
Good. Yeah, I'll like crust pizza or something, not a Domino's. I'll probably go crust pizza or a pizza capers, something, with a bit more flavour to it.
If anyone is listening and needs a brand recognition, there's
pizza capers, a crust pizza.
Yeah, absolutely.
Discount code Lee20, 20% off. No,
Lee, we've got this little gift bag here for you with some gear from Nack Hair Care. They're amazing supporters, nice. Containers for
Does it get rid of grey hairs?
No, it does mine though. Look, I worked on mine.
It's done well on yours.
Yeah. Lee Castledine, thanks so much for spending the time with us at Lifelong Bookfest. We really appreciate it.
Thanks guys, have a good day.
Lee's just going to spend a little bit of time with anybody who likes